Hi, I'm Emily. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. And welcome to a rare review video from me. This is going to be a review roundup of a handful of new products that I have gotten in the last 4 months-ish, because it's been since before my birthday, which was November, I think. I've had them for a little while. I don't rush into reviews. I talk about products quite a bit. I'll use them, I'll show them to you, I'll give little, bits of information as I go, but I like to take my time. So this video format is inspired by a video that Hot Mess Tom did fairly recently that was comparing products, some new to them products, with what they already had in their collection. And I don't know if they considered it a proper review, but I thought for me and, for what I want to do, that would be a good format for reviewing these products. I will link the video because they also talk about one of the products I'm going to talk about, so you can get some variety of opinions if you're interested. So I have some products from Danessa Myricks and from Kaleidos makeup. And this also, I talked about kind of new releases and waiting on makeup, and I feel like everything in this collection of product are things I've been thinking about. So we're gonna jump right in. If you like colorful makeup, if you like bitches with lots of opinions, or you just like cute fat babes, I would love for you to subscribe. And yeah, let's start with Danessa. Let's start with Danessa because it's a fewer products, and maybe this is gonna be more just review than comparison, whatever. I finally got my grubby little paws on the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm, and I bought it in the shade Universal. This has been out for a while now. I have had mine for, I would say, probably 2 months now. Yes, there is already pan in there, but we're gonna talk about that. I've had my eye on this forever, and I was considering shade 2. In the long run, the retailer that I was buying it from had the Universal shade in stock, and they hadn't had shade 2 in stock forever. So I just went ahead and grabbed it. So I've talked about so many times how I really dislike silicone as a sensory experience in my makeup, in my skincare, as a material for products. Ooh, I can't. So but the point is that such a hand talker, which makes editing that much more challenging. The point is that I have never enjoyed a silicone product, nor have I thought that it did what I wanted it to do, what it was advertised to do. But I feel like this Upsolite is the special ingredient in this. I feel like this is doing what a lot of other silicone-y products could never do for me. And because of my aversion and dislike of silicone, I don't have a ton of products in my collection that I could compare this to. This is advertised as something that you can use as a primer, you can use it as a kind of middle step, you can use it at the end of application, and there is a lot of skepticism in that approach, which I agree with. I totally feel that way. Multi-purpose products are oftentimes not actually good at anything that they advertise that they can do, or they're good at one of the things, but they advertise 3 or 4 or 5 things. And I'm just just tell me what you're made to do. But this product actually is good at multiple things. I have applied this on bare skin, or I would say skincare skin, with SPF that has been on for a little while, so it's had time to sink in. I've applied it then, and then put concealer on top of it and everything else on top of it. I have applied it on top of my concealer I have also applied it at the end of makeup application, which I might actually do right now because I did not put it on today. So when I've applied it to my face, either before or after concealer, you can definitely use a brush to do that, but I also have been enjoying using my fingers, and I know that's not for everyone. So here's the thing about this. This feels really nice on the skin. I'm rubbing a little bit in 3 fingers because I want to just kind of tapping it on. And basically I'm just tapping it on my most textured areas. Now, as somebody that likes to wear a lot of highlighter and likes glowy products and all that, this might seem counterintuitive, but I like this ability to go in at the end of things and just kind of apply it in these areas that might have gotten a little out of hand. Like if I'm highlighting my lip, I might still highlight this area, but sometimes it gets there's too much happening and there's too much texture emphasis. So I enjoy that. I really like it though as like a first step or second step. I will use a brush like this, although what I tend to do, if I'm not picking it up on my fingers like I just did today, because I'm a bit of a heathen with my makeup, I'll grab the spoon and I'll grab some of it, apply it to my face, just like a couple of blobs, and then I will use a brush like this to spread it out. I think the only thing I could compare this to in my collection is the Dior Powder No Powder. My problem with that is that it's too dark. It's not a powder shade for me, and that's just a problem I have in terms of my inability to color match myself and then buying things and not being able to return them. My friend Yolanda was one of the people that recommended that powder to me.
Regular skin.
I think that the effect that that powder does for Yolanda and for other people that have talked about it, this balm does that for me. And because it's in this universal, you know, shade, no shade, it works for my skin. I have no idea if the universal stuff would work on other skin tones. Like, I could make a educated guess to say maybe, I think yes, but I literally just said I can't, and then I said it. So let me just move on. I really enjoy this. It doesn't feel like powder, it doesn't feel like silicone, but it feels like what I think silicone wants to be. It feels really soft and a little bit velvety without it being like a drying velvety. It's not like a powder velvety. It's just losing my words. I'm really enjoying it. As somebody that really leans on a concealer base and just going there, I feel like this is that nice in between. This is also like what I think the concept of tinted moisturizer is supposed to be, but I feel like in a sensory way and an application way, a lot of tinted moisturizers are just like too much effort without enough reward, whereas this gives me that reward. I have recently heard that like cloud skin or mochi skin, I'm not sure if there's other names for it, but I've heard that like a soft, and I've seen it in the trends, I've seen a softer velvety kind of matte skin hitting the market more, or it's trending is the best way to say it, I guess. And I feel like this also accomplishes that kind of skin, especially when I put it down as like a base primer, I guess you would say. Now, as I showed, I have hit pan on this. Part of that is just because I decided to stick with the spot that I started in. I do think that if you're used to like a bottle of foundation lasting you for a really long time, or only buying, you know, 1 tube of concealer a year or whatever. Like if you are used to seeing less wear on your products, you might, the process of using this might like frustrate you or disturb you because you feel like, oh my God, it's going so quickly. But as a person that rarely pans anything, and I won't say, I don't rarely use things up, but that's not my focus in makeup. I'm buying things to find joy, basically. Hitting pan and like seeing this going away at a quicker pace than perhaps other makeup and complexion products I own doesn't bother me. So that's the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm. I'm pretty hooked. I'm not a wear time person or anything like that, so please don't, you know, expect me to report on that. But I've definitely had it on my skin for multiple hours of the day. It feels nice. I don't feel like it's breaking up on me or making my makeup look weird. It's one of those products, and I'm not trying to overhype this, but for me, it's one of those products that when I have it on my face and I open up the camera, I feel like I might already have a filter on. And I understand cameras have filters built in, but there's something about what this does in terms of, for me, actually blurring the look. I'm convinced. The other product that I picked up at the same time as the Blurring Balm is one of the Danessa Myricks Infinite Chrome Flakes. This is in Laser Beam. This is such a beautiful product, but I understand why they're enjoyed and why they're hated. Now, I have a dear friend who has received quite a few of these in PR. So they have used them in looks, and I've seen other people use them in looks, and I fell in love. I fell into the intrigue. Because for a long time, flakes, loose flakes, pressed flakes, no thank you, do not want them. I tried pressed flakies, the texture on my eyes was, and they were very like color heavy flakies. I think I did receive some flakies as like a gift with purchase, some loose ones, but they were such a mess compared to even glitter. They were such a mess that I never felt like I could really use them because I just would like open the little gift with purchase container and most of them would fly out. That might have changed now. I might change my mind if I picked up some loose ones, but I feel like this is a happy medium of easier to apply but still editorial. This is not like your basic and makeup. This will probably fall out of the comfort zone of even some of your more exciting color users. It is texture. It is a gel, okay, what I was trying to say. This is a very textured product. And when it was first released, when really in general, a lot of these gel flakes first came on the market, I personally found the kind of application and market photos to be really uninteresting to me, to be unpalatable to a degree because of my eyes and the way, like, when you have that little space, there's like a level of texture that I want. Texture, shine, chunky, sparkle. And then the flaky style texture, I don't want it like I don't want it really heavily concentrated. So with something like these flakes, if I was gonna pick up other colors to play, I'm considering it, I'm really team iridescent. I use these, I love them on the inner corner. I've used them on the brow. I've kind of smeared it all over, like not necessarily the lid, but just over the eye, or like tapped it on top of, eyeshadow. I did a look where I really heavily applied it as like a graphic wing look. I could feel that these do have that gel texture it dries down. And I think that, yet again, with the way that they were marketed, if you apply that thick, intense kind of application, I do think it would be really uncomfortable to wear. So if the thought of like things drying down in any effect doesn't interest you, I would skip it. If the general texture look of this doesn't interest you, skip it. I do think that a lot of the chunkier iridescent shadows I have kind of go into this vein of this level of texture and how I am working with these, but I don't think I have anything that's exactly replicatable. Actually, this is a good point. I might do swatches for this part. I also might not, because I'm feeling a little bit meh about it. But I think if you like the idea of glitter, but glitter scares you, I think that the gel flakes might interest you, because even the glitter in gel, I get freaked out about it, you know, flaking off, falling into my eyes, or whatever loose glitter. I try not to get it close to my eyes. I try to just stay I mean, I say that, but I feel like some of my looks might look otherwise. Glitter does still freak me out. These don't feel that way. I have washed my face and kind of smeared the flakies around, and I've never been like, oh my god, I'm cutting my face. I think they tend to dissolve in water as you're working with them, or maybe I haven't fully noticed. But I do think that if you're a glitter person, but you've been a little freaked out about, you know, cutting your cornea or something like that, you also might enjoy something like this. So do you need the flakes to do like shiny, shifty editorial looks? Absolutely not. But if you're somebody that's like me that likes to play around with things, you might enjoy it. But also if the idea of emphasizing your brow bone doesn't interest you, or if the idea of slathering your cheekbone in a weird flaky highlight doesn't interest you, fucking skip them. Also, it's a liquid gel product, so this is gonna dry out over time. I find it well packaged. For all things considered, the kind of like seal, it's not the seal, but this is pretty, like, I feel like it sticks down almost every time I go to use it. Like the peeling it back off is a bit of a pain, but I like that because I think it helps with it being a little bit more airtight. So yeah, powder shadows are always going to be the thing that like I collect and I want more of. These gel flakes are more of like just me dabbling and trying to have fun in my little world, because currently I don't have as many of the like indie singles brands accessible to me, but Danessa, some of her collection is more accessible. Okay, Danessa part is done. So let's move on to Kaleidos. Thanks to my dear friend Alex, this was a birthday gift. I was a little verklempt over the generosity. So yeah, it was a birthday gift and I have been really enjoying the products. You know, definitely my relationship to and with Kaleidos has evolved over the years. And so as a whole, I'm not as like gimme for everything they release, but these were things that have been on my mind. So we're gonna talk about one of the blushes, the lip clay, and the entire Epiphany Glow Melt On eyeliner collection. So this blush is an Ecstasy. And when I saw it on the site, I thought this is their peachier option compared to some of the other colors. But this blush is pink. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I am saying that, at least for me and on my skin, this really reads like in between pink and peach. I found that it's pretty unique in my collection. I have used it a fair bit, especially once I knew I was gonna film this video. I have been trying to reach for it more often. I'm kind of neutral on this packaging, if I'm being completely honest.
Did he just say we couldn't have dessert?
That's anger. He cares very deeply about things being fair.
I'm not really a lace, like, I like lace. I'm just very neutral on it. I know some people that love it, I know some people that hate it. I'm just, the lid doesn't, you know, stay up. It's gonna flop closed, as you've probably seen multiple times in this video. But it had the pretty flower imprint that mine has started to wear off because I've been using it. This formula is a very, like, it feels like a pretty velvety powder formula. It's not super firmly pressed. It definitely doesn't give me baked gelée or anything like that. It's also not super loosely pressed. I feel like it's, like, in terms of a formula, like, I don't think it's as covetable as my Surratt formula. This formula feels like denser, but also a little bit more like natural skin finish. This formula feels a little bit more of like a velvet natural finish, and it does kick up a little bit or more than like my Surratt. I'm comparing them because this is my beloved. So I do like this. When I first got it, I was fairly underwhelmed. I have to say, I was fairly underwhelmed. But the longer that I've had it and the more I've played with it, I do think it has a special kind of spot in my collection because I'm gonna show you, I do have some different blushes that I'm gonna swatch and show you, you know, color comparisons. But I think that this is unique. It's not the only warm pink that I have, but it's a much more pinky peach than any of the other. Every blush that in my head, I'm like, that's a peach blush. I love that blush because I love peach. I love peach on me. Swatched over or versus the Kaleidos blush, those tones looked much more orange. So this definitely is like a pink peach. So I'm gonna do some swatches. We're gonna show you. I think it's a nice formula. I think that also with this, with the blurring balm, these two together have really, really embraced that, like, that cloud mochi skin thing. So I think that's why I'm noticing it more. It is on my cheeks here. I do have a shiny shadow here, but all back here is the Kaleidos. I've been using it in Get Ready With Me's, I've been using it in looks, so you either have other videos to reference or I might have some footage here. Editing Emily will tell the tale.
Oh, that's how you want to play it, old man? No dessert? Oh, sure. We'll eat our dessert right after you eat this.
I think it's nice. I don't know if I'm going to buy more shades, but compared to the first blush experience with Kaleidos, which I did receive in PR at that time, this is a step up. Formula-wise, this is a step up. So I'm gonna give them that. So these swatches. The Kaleidos swatch is the third one down from the top of my hand, and I hope you can see how pink it really reads on camera. Right above that, I've swatched my favorite, maybe my favorite blush across the board, the Surratt, I think it's Guimauve pink blush that I have that I love. And you can see how it's like the Surratt blush is like also in that pinky peach realm. The Kaleidos blush has this like neon pastel tone to it that does make it feel a little bit more unique, but it might also read a little bit more young or immature to you. The blush at the very top of my hand is from Artist Couture, from the Love Flush blush palette, the Swoon Me. In terms of formula, I'm definitely more drawn to the Kaleidos blush than the Artist Couture palette, and I have had the Artist Couture palette for a while now, so I've had some time to think on that. The blushes that are below the Kaleidos blush are from the Likely Makeup Fairy Blush Palette, the Sunstone and Rose Quartz shades. And I think that if I sat here and mixed those two colors together, that I could probably get something that is close to the Kaleidos Ecstasy realm. I really enjoy my Likely Makeup palettes, but yet again, if I'm comparing and kind of like, you know, in a way, not ranking, but I'm comparing, I would say that again, the Kaleidos blush formula is a more, it feels a little bit more purposefully formulated versus the Likely Makeup. It's still a nice blush formula, but just not quite to that next level. So I think I've said it multiple times, but I'm happy I have this blush. I am kind of intrigued by some of the other colors, but nothing feels like an immediate desire. And the packaging is such a like whatever for me that doesn't make it a more compelling purchase. Let's talk about a lip color that I have wanted for so long. I don't remember when it was first launched. Maybe if I can find that on the internet, I'll put it on the screen, but I have wanted it since the moment it was previewed. And that is the Kaleidos Lip Clay in Scorpion Fruit. That is what I have on my lips today. I do have an eyeshadow on top of it. It's probably transferred a fair bit. The eyeshadow is like a green to purple. I am a black lipstick fiend. I'm a black lipstick hunter. I am on the hunt for the best black lipstick formulas. And spoiler alert, this is not black lipstick to me. I look, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I know you're looking at my mouth and you're like, what is wrong with you? That's the thing that I don't know if other people's photos or anything like that kind of tells the story as much as when you get it in person. This formula is almost like a black coffee. And when it's sheared out, you can see, I feel like, a fair amount of brown and of like berry to it. And because of this formula, which like this is a very purposeful choice, the formula is, you know, very like kind of whipped. I will say it's a silicone-y formula, which is not my favorite, as I've discussed my silicone aversion. So I am not necessarily one of the people that's going to go out and buy, you know, multiple more of the lip clays. I have two currently, two of the weird colors, agave and scorpion fruit. It just doesn't, it's a black lipstick, but it's not a black lipstick. And it does actually blur out nicely, both with the formula and the shape of the doe foot. It does actually, you can actually get like a blurry blackened lip, which is wild to my brain. I think that's a really cool feature of it, but it doesn't have the pitch black tone that I think I thought it did, even after all of my kind of research and reading about it and seeing photos. And it's like, maybe I missed it, but I felt like people weren't talking about that. So I wanted to say that, in that like, this is beautiful, but I almost feel like it's just its own separate color. When you look at whether it's a super budget affordable e.l.f. black lipstick, or I have the Mina or 3Ina black lipstick, or my still top tier holy grail, not available. I don't know if it's ever going to be available again, the House of Uni Wicked black lipstick. It's just not, it's not black in the way that these lipsticks are. But it's also not like berry. I did a swatch of Velvet Midnight from Lisa Eldridge. on my hand that you're gonna see in this video, it's not that light, but it's berry. And it's also not like gray, which I have also swatched It's Wednesday from Necromancy Cosmetica. So like, it is black, but it's not black. And so I am still on the hunt. Here's my thing. This formula is so velvety and deep, and it's not a liquid lipstick. It is a bullet lipstick, so it transfers, but it doesn't transfer at such a high degree, or the pigment is so dense in this color that even if it does transfer, it doesn't look like it on the lips. One of my issues with the Scorpion Fruit lip color from Kaleidos is that, I mean, the lip clays are not transfer proof. It's part of the point is that they're comfortable. I just lightly touched my lips, so like there's just a bare, you know, bit of color on there. And there's also the eyeshadow on top of it, which I think helps in some ways. But when I'm just wearing the color, especially on its own, I can oftentimes see it kind of like moving and slipping around a little bit, especially if I drink out of a straw, or if I, you know, if something touches my mouth. It's not like, oh, there's a huge bald spot, but you can kind of see it. And I feel like with this formula, it's really best with like a thin layer. And I think some of the other tones in this formula work for that. But with this, when you want to build it up and have more of that deep impact, sometimes I notice it kind of moving around on my lips. And I'm not putting like a bunch of lip balm or anything underneath, because I don't want to, you know, affect its performance that much. So I still really enjoy it. I am not mad that I have it by any means, but I am still on the black lipstick hunt. And I wanted to vocalize that, like, if you're looking for like long wearing, like no transfer, blackest black, it's not Scorpion Fruit. Okay, let's talk multichrome. Let's talk multichromes. Alex very generously got me the whole set of the Epiphany Glow Melt On eyeliners. I had 2 or 3 on my radar, and I have them all instead. I'm not mad about having them all, but I wanted to talk about, like, okay, these are a beautiful packaging. First of all, I wanted to start there because that was truly the first experience, and I was like, They are special. They tap into my school, my stationery love, because they feel like pencils in that way. And the packaging or the exterior is all unique to the pencil. But I want to say my first complaint, how the fuck are you gonna read the names in a thing this tiny? I would love if instead, right below the Kaleidos logo, they also printed on the color name. Because the problem, they're beautiful, but the 2 green pencils, their cases are very similar. And then the 2 warmer toned, like they all have like a cousin to them. And in particular, I would say the greens and the warmer tones, I'm always swatching them because I don't remember which color is which. So like every time I want to use one of these colors, especially because I really enjoy the greens. But I'm always like doing a swatch comparison, which is just a little annoying. And it's like they've thought through so many of the things, and I felt like it was a little annoying that they didn't think through the names. And the names are like Tourmaline and Night of Creation. So the writing is very small. So that's an issue. I also think that looking at the colors in a very like critical or in a thoughtful way, you definitely don't need all 6. Some are more impactful than others. I know that there are technically a couple of different formulas, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think that even if you wanted, like if you wanted them all, since they are sold in a set, I wish there was a little bit more, like I wish there was a little bit more difference in the actual colors themselves and in how they're packaged. My experience so far with these is that I think they're fun, but I think of them kind of like I think of the gel flakes. I think if you want to have fun with your makeup, I think if you want to play around, I think that picking up a gel flake, a multichrome pencil is a fun way to do that. I have used these to do graphic liner, like fake brows or like all over the eye. I have used them to do wings. I have used them in my waterline. You're gonna see in this video, I did a side-by-side. This is really the heart of like my inspiration from Hot Mess Tom. So I did a side-by-side look where I used all of the pencils on one eye. I applied it across the lid. I did a wing. I did graphic liner. I used it in the waterline. I drew a circle, whatever. Did it all over. My eyes were not primed. I had just powdered a little bit on like, you know, basically skin. And then on the other eye, I used multichromes. I used Cleona. I used Danessa Myricks. I think I used 3 or 4, and I feel like I used different brands for all of them. So I kind of ranged the gamut to show you can get what these pencils offer with the multichromes you have already. So would I buy these instead of buying powder multichromes? No, absolutely not. Do I think they're fun? Yes. I personally find not all of them show up well in my waterline, or not all of them last well. In my side-by-side comparison, the powder multichrome lasted way better than I think it was tourmaline in my waterline. I think that these have a really nice wear time. When I was cleaning off my hand when I was swatching, I had powder multichromes and the pencils, and the micellar water took all the powder multichromes off and the pencils did not move. I find that to be generally true on my face, although I did have some wear on, I think, where my glasses were rubbing on my brow bone. So I think if you're stuck on kind of like long wear, you might enjoy these, but I have a hard time recommending them, even though I'm having fun with them, because I'm having a hard time thinking, would I have spent this money? And the answer is no. They were a gift. Now, my experiments with my other eye when I was comparing them, I used setting spray. I just wet a brush with like a Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray to do some things. I also scraped out some of the multichrome, powder multichrome, and mixed it with Duraline to do some of the more intricate drawing. And then I did just use a brush and applied it, you know, in certain shapes. I think that if you are if you are to the point where you already own multichromes and you're looking to be more adventurous with them, you don't need pencils to do that. Is it easier? Kind of, yes. But I also find that these can really tug at my skin. I find that like when I was applying the eye with the powder eyeshadows, whether they were mixed with a medium or just, you know, on a wet brush or whatever, I never had to like pull my skin or my face taut to do it. But on this side, I did, like to do certain shapes or, so like a lot of people I've seen using these for graphic liner looks, and you could definitely do that. You absolutely can. And they're fun for that. But if you're a little bit of a saggy, baggy bitch like I am, you might find that you need to like do that whole like hold the skin out so that it has a smoother surface to apply to. It's not even that it's a wrinkly area, it's just like a soft area and the pencil kind of struggles. Whereas a soft brush kind of just glides over the face shape. It does make me think of why I have talked about in the past how I don't like using pencil eyeliners for graphic looks. It's the same issue. It's that like you do kind of have to tug and pull, and while these work better than and look prettier than most pencil eyeliners do in a graphic liner situation, they're still not like, they're not God tier. They're not holy grail to me personally. I'm also showing you a wear test.
4 hours later.
And I did find that like with Duraline, with setting spray, multichromes will smear, they will smudge. So if you're really feeling the graphic looks, you might really like having a pencil or two. I also want to say that if you already own a multichrome 2, 3, whatever, and you're already kind of struggling to feel comfortable using those, I don't think the pencils are gonna magically change that. And I did not enjoy the feeling of trying to apply them across my eyelid. Even though they did kind of look nice in that way, but I would never do that again. I literally just did that for a video. So I'm gonna say again, I am still, with all that said, I'm having fun with them. I would definitely say Limelight, which is very much like the trefoil, a lot of the blue to green multichromes. I think it's super pretty. Of course, I would love the green one. I think Sea Sparkle, which is not really a multichrome, it's just a beautiful silvery blue, is really nice. I also think Night of Creation can be nice, but it also, like, it can just be one of those that tugs on the skin. I mean, actually, what am I saying? They all tug on the skin. I also don't know why I'm swatching them right now as I'm talking to you, because I literally did swatches previously. But that's the thing, is they are so pretty and they stay on my hands forever. So I wish the ease that they applied in this way translated on my face, but yeah, the tugging is a bit of an issue. And like, even when I'm doing wings, a lot of time with liquids or with powders, I can get away with kind of like going back and forth. But with these, I really have to like, I think it's this way. Like I have to, like, it's not just going with my skin super easily is the point I'm trying to make. You've seen them in a lot of looks and I've been enjoying grabbing them and adding them in, but at the same time, they don't feel like a necessity to me. I mean, none of this is. What am I saying? It's all makeup, it's all fun. I said this like 5 minutes ago. The flakes, the pencils feel very similar to me. If you want to have fun with your makeup, maybe pick up one, but also if you already have a collection where you've been, you know, shopping indies, picking up weird little things here and there, you probably already have things in your collection that you can already explore and play with without bringing new products in. I am done here. I hope that this was helpful. I hope this was the level of detail I wanted to bring to the table. And definitely don't be shy in the comments. Leave me your thoughts. Leave me, any insight you have. If you have any tips or pointers on anything that I talked about, I would love to hear from you. I will link everything that I talked about today in the description box. I might not have all the comparison products, but I'll definitely have the Danessa and Kaleidos products linked. I'm pretty sure Kaleidos does not have monetary affiliate links that I can use, but probably the Danessa links will be affiliated. So if you feel so inspired to pick something up, or even just click through and buy something different, because those links work that way. If you ever want to shop Sephora or Ulta or Beautylish or Beauty Bay, it's a really easy way to support myself or any creator you want to support. And on that shop note, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much to my patrons and my channel members for your support. If anyone watching is feeling so encouraged, I would love for you to become a patron or channel member. Whichever one is easier for you is good with me. But no matter what, take care of yourself better today than you did yesterday because you are worth it. Bye, friends.